Okay, welcome back to day 125. I'm gonna be the center, but I'm too tall. Yeah, yesterday, St. Patrick's Day, I'm like, I didn't need to get this video out. So I decided to blindly place where I put the leprechaun. I have no idea if I put it in the right place. I have no idea if I was loud enough. Because at the same time, my sister was doing online college, so she had sometimes her mic open and stuff. So I didn't want to do that if she had her mic open, but she didn't. So I should have just made it really loud as I could. But yeah, since I'm still wearing a green shirt, also from St. Patrick's Day, I thought it'd be funny to tell you guys that I'm gonna get my allergy shots on St. Patrick's Day, which I'm sick and tired of trying to get because my allergist is supposed to be there a certain time, but he leaves early every day, and I hate it, and I'm very frustrated at it since I was supposed to be 6 weeks of me coming in, and that was beginning of December, very beginning of December, like first week of December, 6 weeks. It's March, it's St. Patrick's Day, guys. I've been there every single week, and they're like, can you come earlier? I'm like, no. I was supposed to change my work schedule even more so he can skip work. No, don't think I'm gonna do that. Anyway, besides that, I go in and the lady, because of the pandemic, is cleaning up, and I thrive, so I was, cheering her on, telling her that I love that she does that. I love that she cleans up after everyone and stuff. And she's like, oh, thanks. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, girly. And I'm like, not a girl, but okay. Because, like, obviously, I got Tito's, okay. Big one. And I never expressed otherwise. So I'm like, yeah. And I'm brighter and everything, so I'm like, yeah, I get it. But I am looking into, and I'm getting testosterone and stuff, so anyways, but she was clearly not, it didn't make me just work. It was very cute. But yeah, she's like, yeah, girly. She just kept saying girly, girl, and it was really cute because her doctor does the same thing. I know her too. She's my nurse. But anyways, this guy sits down and he's like, question I have to ask, and I'm like, okay, what do you want, right? And he's like, oh, is your hair always green, or did you choose it for St. Patrick's Day? And I'm like, oh, I choose green for St. Patrick's Day, but I do normally have colored hair, but I think green won at the first. And he's like, yes, that's what I like to hear, with like a fist bump in the air. And I'm just like, okay, St. Patrick's Day is getting real serious. So I guess because of COVID, he was very into it, and so he's like, yeah, and I'm like, okay, sure. And it was very funny. He was telling me he like squeezed into his shirt that I clearly only read Irish and had a clover on it, so I'm assuming it's like kiss me I'm Irish, or I'm lucky because I'm Irish, kind of thing. And he's like, yeah, I had to try to snug on this shirt. I haven't worn it in years, so clearly this St. Patrick's Day he's more into it. And he was telling me how COVID and the social distancing left him feeling pretty isolated, and I'm like, oh, that sucks. And so he's just talking to me and I'm talking back, and I don't know, he just told me there's a bunch of different things about himself. Like, he apparently has a 6-year-old kid, which is really cute, that he's with, and how somebody he knows that was part of his circle for New Year's, he's like, we ain't being circle buddies no more, because he threw a birthday party, invited me and my kids, and I think it was for the kids, question mark, I don't know. And he got sick with COVID, and I'm just like, maybe don't have a big get together. Weird. He's like, yeah, we're no longer part of the same circle. Like, we were a circle, but we're not anymore. I'm like, know that feeling. So, it was very sweet, but it was so funny just to be like, yeah, St. Patrick's Day, that's what we like to hear. And then, just telling me about how he, like, plays with his kid, the 6-year-old. Apparently, like, the 6-year-old is a base, so he can't, like tickle attack the kid there. And he just likes playing, but he's like, yeah. So I assume he's slightly older than me. That means nothing, but I think so, because he mentioned that being on Facebook, and he's like, instead of just messaging back or liking the post, if I have a question or if I want to say something, I just call them. I'm like, good for you. He's like, don't get me wrong, I like being a hermit in my house, but I just, you know, communication. And like, no, we're on opposite sides of this freaking room. So he's like, oh, she's over there, not good. I want to say 15 feet away from me, and I'm just like, dude, we're just screaming to each other now. Maybe 12 feet. 2 meters. Yeah, no. 3 feet, 1 meter, 6 feet, 2 meters, 4 meters. 4 meters. Did wrong math. But, so 4 meters away from me. And, but yeah, it was just so funny. It was just so funny that we're just screaming. We were the only ones in there besides the workers, so I do feel bad about that, but at least there wasn't like a bunch of people. And yeah, we were just chatting. And yeah. And then I mentioned that my cousin's friend, who's like 17, got COVID, and I'm like, that sucks. And he's like, you don't even know the lasting effects. But he said his mom and his mom's boyfriend got vaccines. They got the second vaccine, and I'm like, that's really nice. That's good. That's good. Yeah, and I got my CT scan back. It just confirms that I have a deviated septum, pretty much. So I'm like, okay, but right now, right here hurts. So that, I wonder if that's the joint problem. And my ears keep popping and stuff. So I'm just like, so I kind of just wish I don't know. I wish I was just like something wrong with my sinuses so I can fix it and be done, you know? And I've been going so many places this week and I hate it. I don't want to go out. We're so close to being scot-free with COVID. Yeah, and he mentioned that he was like, some of his like people in his group don't believe COVID exists even, and I'm just like, how do you not believe COVID exists? Like, how do you not believe that? How do you see all this going on and think nothing? How you can say like anything you want about masks not being as effective as it could be. You can say all you want about now that was pretty much it. Mask procedures. Masks are only as good as it is. Like, one time I took it off and I touched my nose and I'm like, pretty much didn't matter, huh? Touched my nose. Now it's on my face, you know, so I washed off my face, but, you know, lack of mask procedure, if you just take it off and initially touch your face, means nothing. You pretty much, but yeah, I was watching, apparently up to the finale. We did not watch the finale yet of the last season of the Runaways, Marvel's Runaways TV show. And I gotta say, I don't know what it is, but I never read the books, the comic books completely. But I want to say somewhere between the comic books, again, I might be wrong, somewhere between the comic books and the TV show, because there's such a nice, diverse group of characters that doesn't 100% follow tropes. Like, is it Killer Class? Deadly Class is very, like, we probably get so diverse, but it's very much in a not a great way. It's done in a very extremely stereotypical way, where I don't think as much, at least, falls into the Runaways. The tech guy is black. The witch is East Asian. I think, if I want to say Chinese, but I do not remember enough to be confident on that one. Is East Asian. The really, really tough, strong, physically strong person, Molly, is the younger, girl of the group. So it kind of also throws away trope of that. And yeah, so it really kind of throws in different things. I think, if anything, their parents are more stereotypical than they are, like the kids. But I think it really is way better than Deadly Class with that, especially in the TV show, if not the books as well. But what happened is, I am somewhere between the comics of these beautiful, diverse, iconic looking and dressed characters. Once they came into the TV show, somebody clearly hates feminism in the way of, like, moving forward. So, like, somebody on the writing team hates everything Gert stands for. Everything. So she has to be looking a little bigger. She has awkward, like, glasses, even though they're really cute. I love those glasses. I love Gert's like, hair and glasses. I love it. And hairdresser with very similar-esque glasses. Loved her to death. Loved her. Haven't seen her since the pandemic, obviously, and before, but during the pandemic, obviously not. But anyways, what happened was, in the show, they make jokes about trigger and, like, safe spaces and, like, being like, oh, why can't you just speak normally? Like, what is heteronormative? Why do you say, like, these kind of big, like, trigger words, like, you know? And you're like, did you just use trigger? Yes. In not a joking way. It's a word. Trigger means multiple things. but in the sense of like trigger jokes, it was like, oh, that's a new trigger for me, but not in a serious way, like, hey, don't mention it, okay? Just like in a very horrible way. And a lot of these things. And then the only good type of feminism that they even show is Molly's hat being the pink cat ears. That was part of the very mainstream feminism. But that also being said, that could be the costume department. The writing might not have anything to do with it. So, but like, even little things like some people, I know multiple people, I know one closer to me, a trans woman, doesn't like saying you guys as like a gender neutral way of speaking, because to people it isn't, and that makes complete and utter sense. Obviously it doesn't affect me, but it does affect other people. So if Grit personally was like, hey, don't use guys for me, chill. In that situation, probably still not chill. If someone misgenders me, even freaking dead names me in an alternate reality where people are being tortured, I will let it go. I'll punch them when we get home, especially if they dead named or misgendered someone else. But for me, I'd be like, yeah, you know what, that's fine, let's keep going. But it's supposed to be very humorous, and like literally the punchline of one joke was like, what are you studying? Oh, gender studies. Like, this guy said it, and I'm just like, it's a serious thing, it's a serious topic. And if you is it that they want to change more? Is it just feminism as a whole? Is it because you think like women are good now, we don't need anything, we society don't need to change anything more? But like, that's so dumb, because people were quote unquote so extreme in the past that that's where we got to here today, how we got here today to where we are, and thinking that we can't improve is just kind of ridiculous. So I don't know, that's just a ridiculous idea. But it clearly, like, they even said like, you're not girl boss. I'm like, I hate this so much. But also during that scene, all I can think about is the new Cruella movie, and I'm like, yeah, because like, you're not girl boss, you're just selfish. And I think they drop a lot of time, if I'm not mistaken, at least in some point of the TV show, they drop the word psychopath or sociopath or some nonsense. I'm like, cool, love that for us. They make fun of Gert taking medicine for anxiety, even though they later showed that it was literally because her parents drugged her to make her forget things at least once. But they said you're always really smart, you're always figuring things out, so almost in a way it could be multiple. And then having it be like, oh, and her IBS medicine, it's like, what, you think that gets rid of it? And in a weird way, it's almost like, oh, people only have anxiety because they don't experience the real world, and they don't just like get over it. It's like, that's not how that works. You don't just get over having anxiety that you take medicine for, that you've been through therapy, that your parents drugged you, make you forget that they do experiments on things to try to bring back dinosaurs, but still drugged you. Also, your parents literally killed like 17 people, and we're just dropping that, so